What's good, CK crew? It's your boy CK2K, and it has been way too long. Guys, look, man, I'm gonna be completely real with you guys. I was dead last week. I have allergies, and the allergies turned into a cold, and I was just like, I was out of commission last week, man. Your boy was dead. But I'm back now. We're geared. The season ended last week, and this is going to be my season review video that I didn't get to do because, you know, I didn't post last week. I apologize about that. This video is about the celebration of whatever we can find to celebrate about the Knicks this past season. We've gone through everything this last year. We went through the rebuild as we normally do, but this time we actually did it the right way in quote-unquote tanking. But we've had some milestones this year. I mean, the biggest highlight of this entire season for us has definitely been the young guys, you know, the growth of all of our rookies. We had two guys in Mitchell Robinson and Alonzo Trier come in and surprise everybody and do a lot more than what we had expected from them. And Kevin Knox, who had a bit of an up and down first year but ended on a very high note. You guys know I've been highly talking about Kevin Knox the entire season. And I do firmly believe that he is going to be good for us in the long term. So it has been a good season. It has been an interesting season. Okay, let me not say it's been a good season. It's been an interesting season. I'm gonna leave it at that. But there were moments this season to remember, and I want to go down memory lane before we finally just scrap the year and move on to the future. That is the NBA draft and the off season of, you know, getting free agents and stuff like that. I just want to do a proper send off to last year's NBA season. So one of my favorite moments comes at the beginning of the season, and this was earlier when I want to say the Bucks were starting to surge, and we had a very strong game in the Garden against the Milwaukee Bucks. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I think the game was like in December, probably like December 1st. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but it was around that time, and this was one of probably the most notable wins that we had this entire season was against the Milwaukee Bucks. We had 4 dudes over 20. I know Alonzo Trier had himself a good game, but we were led primarily by Emmanuel Mudiay, who had 28 points, and this was back when Knox was first coming back from his injury, so he was coming off the bench, and he dropped 26 points on them as well. And we just played an overall great game against the Milwaukee Bucks. That was probably one of my favorite games to watch this season. Not my favorite, but it was definitely up there because this was when the Bucks were starting to surge. I think this was probably the last game they lost for quite some time, and being that we were the one that gave them the loss, that was pretty cool. So the ending score was a 136-134 game. And not to mention, there was a very key moment that happened in this game, even though he didn't do much the entire game, but something happened in this game. You remember this?
Hezonja drives it, Middleton finishes, and then stares and walks over into the Antetokounmpo.
That did cause Giannis Antetokounmpo to erupt for 33 points and 19 boards, but we still end up getting the W in that crazy game. Shouts to the Knicks. That was a fun game to watch. I remember being hyped on Twitter. It was a great moment. Now, another one of my favorite moments is just Alonzo Trier. I feel like Alonzo Trier doesn't get enough credit, but he deserves a lot more credit than he really gets. I think Alonzo Trier, we have to remember, he was undrafted. He was a guy that we didn't know what he would be, but the Knicks definitely took a chance on him early because as soon as the draft ended, we went out there and we picked Alonzo Trier up and we brought him onto the roster. And from opening night against the Atlanta Hawks, we can't forget. I mean, I know it was so long ago, but that was the moment where Trier was like, yo, I'm on this team with a dunk like this.
Trier drives down, throws it down. Alonzo Trier.
Trier is one of those guys that could possibly be one of the better shot blockers at his position. We can't forget when there was moments when he got guys like Zach LaVine. He got Victor Oladipo once when we were playing the Pacers, and all kinds of other moments where he was getting people with these chase down blocks. A few of them, I feel like because he was a rookie, he didn't get the benefit of the doubt, even though I know he got there before players got to the backboard, but they counted him as goaltending. But it was just something that was a recurring theme throughout the entire season. And I feel like Alonzo Trier is going to be a solid piece for us on our team, whether he ends up being a starter, but to me, ultimately, I feel like he is going to be a very solid bench go-to guy, and I think that should be the role that he tries to master. Because I mean, look at guys like Lou Williams and Jamal Crawford, who, yes, they probably could be starters in their own right, but they made their career as, you know, the go-to guy off the bench to lead the second unit, and I think that has a place in the league, and Alonzo Trier could be that guy. So this one happened a little bit later, but in my opinion, it is something that we should highlight. As much hate as I have given this guy throughout the entire season, Mario Hezonja.
What?
Mario Hezonja did something very, very later on in the season, but it is something that we should talk about, and that is him standing out as a point guard. Now, I don't think he should be the point guard, but I do think he has a future being a point forward in this league because his vision has been something that was good throughout the entire season. Though he did make some overzealous passes, and that kind of made it look like him not being a guy that could make a pass in the pocket and stuff. When he was given the role as point guard by Fizdale later on in our season, actually towards the end of our season, you saw that he does really have that vision when he is in the position to be making those passes and stuff. Now, I'm going to give him credit for that. But ultimately, I'm not celebrating Hezonja. I know I've been hating on him all year, and I'm going to keep that same energy. But at the same time, I will give credit where credit is due when he got a triple-double. That was a big moment for him and for us because we're seeing a player that possibly might belong on our bench and might belong on this team in the future, especially if we are going to be building a contending team. He might be a guy that could probably be on this team. The kid gave 16 points, 16 boards, and 11 assists. That's not just an ordinary triple-double. That is a strong triple-double. When you get 15 plus any of the second stat, like a assist, rebound, whatever your second stat is in your triple-double, to me, that is a strong triple-double. And for him to do that, that was a very fun game to watch. I was sitting there enjoying myself watching Mario Hezonja after everything I had to say. So I salute you. That was, to me, one of the key moments of seeing him play his best version of basketball as a Knick. And I would be okay with us bringing him on long-term to be, on this team coming off the bench, because it would help us more than hurt us. And you definitely want guys that really buy into the system and buy into the team. And Mario Hezonja has proven to be one of those guys that really loves being on the Knicks and buys in on what we do as a Knicks organization. So I would love to have that long term. And this next moment actually has something to do with Mario Hezonja once again. I feel like the game against the Los Angeles Lakers in New York at Madison Square Garden was a huge moment for us this season. Now, we already beat them the first time, but this was LeBron-less, but they did have their whole young core with them playing. But this second time was with LeBron James, and LeBron James is looking to have a strong game in Madison Square Garden. But we did not back down, not even a little bit. Now, say what you will about the Lakers, they did not have a great season. But anytime you are playing against LeBron James and you win, that is a big deal. And we did that. And in the fashion that it happened was fantastic. Mario Hezonja, again, doing whatever he can to try to be on this roster, played solid defense against LeBron James the entire game. Say what you will, Laker fans. Mario Hezonja did a good job against LeBron James defensively, and we can't forget the very last play.
LeBron with 5 seconds, driving on Hezonja. Hezonja with the block! And the Knicks on a 13-1 run come back and defeat the Lakers.
That was a big win for us, regardless of what the record was for the Los Angeles Lakers. The way it happened, the way that we stayed strong and played from point A to point B was the biggest thing, and that's the reason why that was a good game for us. So I'm gonna put that as one of my favorite moments of the season, was that win against the Lakers and sweeping the Lakers for the season, giving us that edge in the New York-LA battle. And also, I want to mention that Moutier did kill it with 28 points in that game. Moutier had a lot of big games, but you guys want to keep hating on Moutier, but Moutier 28 points, 8 rebounds, or 8 assists, not 8 rebounds. Moutier getting his shine on that one. This moment to me is one of my favorite moments of the season. I wanted to save this for last, but it wasn't. Kevin Knox has been, for whatever reason, very shaky on a lot of people's boards and a lot of people's thoughts as far as Knicks fans. And to me, Kevin Knox did everything you would want from your 9th pick in the NBA draft. Yes, he had moments where he shot terribly. Yes, we had moments where he's shown that he was not the greatest defender, but after that same LA game, you saw a different Kevin Knox come in, and that's just from simple conversation with LeBron James, and he really took the words to heart and turned that around. But even going back before that, when he started to find his own against Brooklyn earlier on in the season, up until he rolled his ankle, and then he came back and it took him a little time to get back on track, but then December took over and ended up ultimately getting Rookie of the Month. Kevin Knox, to me, is going to be a guy that has the potential to be a next level guy, whether it is a star role player on a team or an all-star. it's yet to be seen. He's too young to tell. He's not even 20 years old yet. He's gonna be 20 at the beginning of next season. I have a strong belief in this kid's upside, and I know a lot of people are probably being very critical on Kevin Knox because, you know, people just like to be negative, but the kid is going to be nice for us. But the kid also gave us not one, not two, but 3 highlight dunks in the same season. My favorite being the one against Ben Simmons.
Jordan, Knox with the finish and the foul. What a pass from DeAndre Jordan.
But we also definitely can't forget the one against the Cleveland Cavaliers.
New York with a chance to take the lead. Knox in the hole, thumped it.
So Kevin Knox gave us a lot to cheer for and a lot to be thankful for in a pick like him, coming number 9 overall. And I think Kevin Knox definitely is just him being a Knick and him showing growth and being bought in on the system. I think that's going to only help us long term depending on wherever we go next with this season. So another big moment, this is controversial. Now at the time, I remember everyone's thought process and where everybody's minds were at, but I'm going to put this on this list because ultimately, I mean, we don't know yet if it was a great moment or not, but I'm still, regardless of what happens this summer, I'm still going to put it on a positive note. And that was us ultimately trading Kristaps Porzingis. Now, I am still not on team down with KP yet. I'm not there yet. I don't know if I ever will be. Yes, his brother is very irritating. His brother's probably the person, if anybody to be mad at, that I'm the most frustrated and pissed off at is his brother. He steered him in the way that he steered him in, to have his thoughts towards New York and whatever. But the player that is Kristaps Porzingis gave us something that we haven't gotten in a long time, and that is our own star from within. Yes, he's from Latvia, but I mean that we drafted this kid. We got to witness this guy turn into the player that he ultimately turned into long term, and he could potentially be a superstar in this league. It's still yet to be seen. I mean, he had injury problems from the beginning till now, but he could possibly come back and just turn a new leaf and be that next level guy for the Mavericks. I know it's still very sensitive for a lot of you guys, but to me, I'm going to give credit where credit is due, and Kristaps Porzingis was the cornerstone for our team for a long time. I do have his jersey. I'm not going to throw it away. I don't know when I'm going to wear it again, but I do have his jersey, and I have it proudly because I was glad to have our own guy that, you know, we brought in and, you know, had New York on his back for the short term that he did. Then we ultimately traded him, knowing what we knew, and compared to Knicks fashion in the past, we did it quickly and we did it the right way, and we managed to bring back assets that can help us long term, aka Dennis Smith Jr., aka possibly DJ long term. But even if we don't get him long term, he still helped us long term by unlocking confidence in Mitchell Robinson. So there were a lot of things in this trade, in this move, that will be crucial for us long term, whether it be us signing 2 big guys on max deals in the offseason, to the growth of Mitchell Robinson through the trade of DJ, and getting us possibly our point guard of the future in Dennis Smith Jr. There's a lot of things that come from this trade, but that was a huge moment. Still probably my most watched video on this channel. No, it's not, but it's pinned on my channel. Was, you know, my reaction to the whole trade. It's there now. Now, I've been saying it throughout the entire season. This moment was probably, still to this day, is my favorite game of the entire season. And that was the game that we won in Boston against the Boston Celtics earlier in the season to give us a 3-game winning streak at the time, which was our biggest winning streak of the entire season. God, that's so sad to say. But to me, that was my favorite game to watch because that was the most complete game I have ever seen from us this entire season in a long time. You know, I think that was the biggest sample piece of what David Fizdale is probably going to be for us long term when we have more talent on the team. When you see the way that we played in transition, we sat down and played solid defense, and we played from wire to wire and winning from wire to wire, and it was just so great to watch. And it was I understand that the Celtics were in their own place and doing what they were doing and whatnot, but to see that, it was really nice to see, and to me that was one of my favorite games of the season by far, and this moment is probably one of my favorites of this past season. And not to mention, I know he's not on our team anymore, Trey Burke went out there and played his heart out. 29 points, 11 assists. It was just a remarkable overall performance by everybody, and shouts to the guys there. That was a good game. Probably the biggest moment of this entire season, and that is Mitchell Robinson. I had one of my moments was dedicated to Alonzo Trier. One of my moments was dedicated to Kevin Knox. But of all the players on our team, of any, review of anybody for this season, Mitchell Robinson is probably one of the brightest moments. One of the brightest moments of this entire season, and just watching his growth. Mitchell Robinson definitely has a top spot in this league. He has done so many things, from breaking block records, from being one of the top block getters in the entire league for only playing 19 minutes a game. The list goes on, and his rebounding is something that he is still getting better at, which is crazy to say. His jump shot is going to be something that he's going to integrate with his game next season. There's just so much left to unlock from this kid's game. To watch him be one of those players that, has all the athletic ability and all the defensive capabilities at the beginning of the season, but used to jump on everything and get stupid senseless fouls, to then come to the end of the year where he was sitting down, being patient and making his timing right. It was just so many little things that grew from his game. And yes, a lot of that came from DeAndre Jordan. DeAndre Jordan unlocked that from him. And we heard the reports later on in the season that we were meant to buy out DeAndre Jordan, but he turned that down. He decided to stay here and be on this team, and he bought in on what we believed and what we wanted to do long term. Whether he ends up being a Knick next season or not, he wanted to be a part of it and help grow the Knicks' future from within, and helping a guy that could be our cornerstone or one of our centerpieces in Mitchell Robinson. And I got so much respect for DeAndre Jordan with that, and I'm just so excited to see long term what Mitchell Robinson ends up becoming, and it was just great stuff. So Mitchell Robinson definitely is one of the best moments of this entire season, just the overall work of Mitchell Robinson for sure. I know there were so many things that I'm probably missing. There were definitely games that were up on that list. We can't forget the double or the triple overtime game against the Bulls that we should have won, but the referees decided to give to the Bulls. There's so many moments throughout the entire season, but that's why I like to leave this open for you guys to give me your favorite moment of this entire season in the comment section below. Appreciate all you guys' patience. You guys know the deal. Follow me on my socials. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Join the Discord. Please join the Discord. I can't say it enough. It's a lot of fun over the Discord. And yeah, so I'll catch you guys later. It's been your boy CK. I know today has been a little bit of a lower energy video, but it was reminiscent on good times this season, even though there wasn't many, okay? Much love to you guys. We'll catch you guys in the next video. You know the deal. Let's get it. I'm out of here. Peace.